Nitai Gauribo, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jai Shri Radha Kishore Gopinath ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 18. King Yayati regains his youth, Text 16. Please repeat. Atma Vritam Avigyaya Kathase Bahu Bhikshuki Kim Na Pratikshashe Asmakam Grihan Bhali Bhujaha Yatha Atmavritam avigyaya Atmavritam avigyaya Katha se bahu bhikshuki Katha se bahu bhikshuki Kimna pratikshashe smakam Kimna pratikshashe smakam Grihan bali bhujo yatha Grihan bali bhujo yatha Atma vritam avigyaya Kata se bahu bhikshuki Kimna pratikshashe smakam Grihan bali bhujo yatha Atma vritam avigyaya Katha se bahu bhikshuki Kimna pratikshashe smakam Grihan bali bhujo yatha
Atma Vitam Avignaya
Kata se bahu bhikshuki
Kimna Pratikshase Smakam
Grihan bali bhujo yatha
Grihan bali bhujo yatha
विज्ञाय
आत्मामृतम् अभिज्ञाय
कथा सेवा भिक्षुकी
तथा सेवाहु भिक्षुकी
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
आत्मावृतम् अभिज्ञाय
आत्मावृतम् अभिज्ञाय
कथा सेवा भिक्षुकी
तथा सेवाहु भिक्षुकी
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
आत्मवृत्तम् अभिज्ञाय
आत्मावृतम् अभिज्ञाय
कथा सेवा भिक्षुकी
सेवाहु भिक्षुकी
किं न प्रतीक्षसे समाकम्
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
आत्मावृतम् अभिज्ञाय
आत्मावृतम् अभिज्ञाय
तथा सेवाहु भिक्षुकी
तथा सेवाहु भिक्षुकी
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
किं न प्रतीक्षसे स्माकम्
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
गृहान् बलिभुजो यथा
आत्मावृतम् अभिज्ञाय
Atmavritam avigyaya.
तथा सेवाहु
Repeat, you're beggar. Sorry, you beggar. Since you don't understand, why should you unnecessarily talk so much? Don't all of you wait at our house, depending on us for your livelihood, like crows. Report by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Crows have no dependent life. They fully depend on the remnants of foodstuff thrown by householders into the garbage tank. Therefore, because a Brahmana depends on his disciple, when Sarmishtha was heavily rebuked by Devayani, she charged Devayani, who is belonging to a family of crow-like beggars. It is the nature of women to fight verbally at even a slight provocation. As we see from this incident, this has been their nature for a long, long time. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'd like to first express my heartfelt joy for coming here at the feet of Shri Shri Radha Kirchor Gopinath Ki. And this is the moment, most awaiting moment for this festival, Jagannath Rath Yatra. I can see that how you're all getting prepared. Right? And this is amazing. This morning Maharaj was also doing the kirtan practice, dancing, right? These are swan-like devotees. This is speaking about crows here. So, Sarmishta is rebuking at Devayani, who is the daughter of Sukracharya. Yes. What happened, they were both friends. They went to some garden and they wanted to take bath. And then in the river, they were not having their clothes. And suddenly they saw Lord Shiva coming. And when they saw Lord Shiva, it's the respect, to give respect to Lord Shiva. Not like Manigriva, Nalakuvara. And they saw Narad Muni coming, they still continued to take bath naked. And they were cursed by Narad Muni to become trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. That's an etiquette. You know, when they would see a great personality, especially coming, they would just come out and put their clothes. And that was Lord Shiva coming. Has to be respected. Narad Muni also. Narad Muni was going to the place to Kailas to meet Lord Shiva. But then this Nalakuvara, Manigriva, they were cursed. Many instances we can see. Even when Sukadeva Goswami, as soon as he took birth, directly to the forest. They didn't want to get entangled in this world. And they also, some ladies, they were taking bath and they just came out and put the dress. So, now when Vyasdev came, they were putting the dress. Sukadeva Goswami, because he was very renounced. So here, and when they saw Lord Shiva, they started putting the dress, and Sarmishta exchanged dress without knowing, unknowingly. She was putting the dress of Devayani. And Devayani being coming from the Brahmanical family, she started to rebuke, chastised Sarmishta. And Sarmishta, she had kind of anger mood. It was becoming angry. She became very angry. You know, is breathing very heavily like a serpent. You know, and then she spoke this verse: "You beggar." Why is telling Devayani beggar? Because
Others eat Brahmins.
Brahmin family. They're from Brahmin, Sukracharya, right? Brahmanical family. You beggar, since you don't understand your position, why should you unnecessarily talk so much? Don't all of you wait at our house, depending on us for your livelihood like crows? I mean, Brahmanas, they don't work, right? So they go and beg as Brahmanical qualities. And she is rebuking Devayanis coming from that, like crows. Crows, what does crow do? Is waiting for the remnants. You know, of course the crow, they also go to the crow's places of pilgrimage is the garbage. This is what Narad Muni said to Vyasadeva. He said that scriptures that do not glorify, because he wrote the Vedas. He did not wrote about the name, Nam, Gun, Rup, Lila. So Narad Muni said, literatures that do not describe about the glories of the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lords are like places of pilgrimage for the crows. What is places of pilgrimage for the crows? Garbage. It means all the newspapers, all the different types of books, they are places of pilgrimage for the crows, because they don't describe the glories of Nam, Gun, Rup and Lila of the Lord, right? But then he explained that, but the scriptures, literatures that glorify the name, form, qualities of the Lord, which is appreciated by the sadhus, even it is written with defect, even if it is faulty written with defect, still it is accepted by the great sages, because it is describing the glorious Nam, Gun, Rup and Lila of the Lord. Right? So the crows, their place, they were always looking for garbage. Shastra makes a difference. The crows like people, and also swan like people. Who are the swan like? It's called devotees, Paramahansa. Hans means swan, Paramahans. A few reasons why compared to be like Hansa. Because crows, they remain in garbage. You want to eat garbage, dirty place. But the swan, they like to stay in a very beautiful, scenic rivers and waters, mountain, lotus flowers. That's the places where the swan resides. That's why devotees compare Mataji saying devotees, or pure devotees also. Paramahansa. Hans means swan. Also what swan does, they can, if you mix water and milk together, the swan can take out the milk from the water. Can we do that? We can't do that. Yeah, you can drink the milk, take the milk and leaving the water aside.
We can pick out the good things.
Huh?
We can pick out the good
Yes. Even though we're in this material world full of dirt, but the devotees, the Paramahansa, they take out the good thing of this world. They are in this world, picking up the good thing of this world. That's the devotees. So now she's telling about beggar, you beggar, Brahmanas. No? Yes, they're begging because they don't work. And there are different types of Brahmanas also. Brahmanas, they are first those who are born in a Brahmana family and not practicing Brahmanical culture. He's called Brahmana Bandhu. Brahmana Bandhu means a friend of the Brahmana. He's not practicing. He's just born in a Brahmanical family. Nowadays you will find, even in Vrindavan, many of the Brahmanas, but the son of not practicing Brahmanical culture, they're becoming doctors and engineers. Doctors and engineers are not the works of Brahmanas. Which work is that? Teacher. Now of this forecast. Sudra. Because they're dealing with skill, right? So,
Working for money. Working for money.
Yeah. So they are actually working, they are becoming doctors and engineers. I mean, doctor is good, but what I'm saying is, if they are born from the Brahmana family, is expected to follow Brahmanical culture. But they are called Brahmana Bandhu. But one who is also a Brahmana, and then, of course, Brahmana is also very dear to Krishna. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanayitaya Cha Jagitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishna explained, actually Vishnu explained also. He said the hierarchy of the living entities. The lowest are the aquatics, and higher than the aquatics are the trees and the reptiles and the beast, and then human being, and then demigods higher. And among the demigods you have Lord Shiva, no, Lord Brahma, also the highest, and higher than, and Lord Vishnu said, although they are highest, but I'm more inclined to the Brahmanas. Vishnu is saying, I'm more inclined to the Brahmanas, and he also mentioned that I prefer to eat through the mouths of the Brahmanas. So He's most satisfied to eat through the mouths of the brahmanas. This is why in the Vedic culture, when someone is born or someone passed away, in both ways, they invite brahmanas to bless the departed soul, to bless a newly born child. You know, in the Vedic culture, when someone passed away, they call Brahmana Bhojan, Brahman Bhoj, Brahm Bhoj, something like that. Means they invite brahmanas. Why they invite brahmanas and feed brahmanas? Because Vishnu says he prefers to eat through the mouths of the brahmanas. So when you feed the brahmanas, Vishnu is more satisfied. Normally we do swaha, no? Fire yagya. Swaha, swaha, you know. So that's also the mouths of Lord Vishnu, that Havan Kund. Because we are offering all the ingredients into the fire. Is eating that. That's a mouth of Lord Vishnu. Another name for Vishnu is Yagya Purusha. Right? So he's satisfied, but he's more satisfied when we feed the brahmanas, because he's more inclined. And two things, these brahmanas and cows. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go. Go means cows also. These two are very, very dear to Krishna. And we can see when Krishna's name is called Gopal. Right? Gopal, one who takes care of cows. And also is called, his planet is Goloka. Goloka, the planets for the cows. You know? Govinda, Govardhan, everywhere is go, cows. You know? But Sanmacharya explained that these two is very dear. But now if you want to choose between of these two, one of these two, the dearest would be the cows. Of course, brahmanas also. Why cows? Because cow will always remain pure, never change, like tulsi, never become contaminated. But brahmanas may become contaminated, you know. But still, Krishna is very much inclined to the brahmanas, very dear to the brahmanas. Hitaya means for their benefit, hitayacha, right? So. And then the brahmanas, so when the brahmanas start studying Shastra, you know, they go a bit further, become more advanced, and then they are called Vipra. You know, the Vipras is also brahmanas, but they are Vipra, higher, because they're studying Shastra. You heard of Chaturvedi? One who knows, eh? Four Vedas. Trivedi? And Drivedi, you know, names like that are given sometimes. They're studying the Vedas. And then, as the Vipras make more advancement, and it's called Vaishnava. So you can say that Vaishnavas are like postgraduate Brahmanas. Vaishnavas are postgraduate Brahmanas. Right? They're higher. Because it's also explained that if one is a Brahmana and has been practicing Brahmana and having even all 12 qualities of a Brahmana, but do not perform devotional service, he cannot deliver himself. And what to speak of family members, he cannot deliver his family members as well. You know. Despite being a Brahmana, but if he's not engaged in devotional service, then he cannot deliver himself. Whereas somebody coming from a Yavana family, a Malay family, is engaged in devotional service, become pure, he can deliver himself as well as his family members. You know, one can be a Brahmana, but that's why Vaishnavas, they are higher. You know, when the wives of the Brahmanas, remember that? Krishna asked the boys, cowherd boy, go and ask food from the wives of the Brahmanas. No, sorry, from the Brahmanas first. And they went, and the Brahmanas, they were engaged in yagya, performing yagya. They're getting ready. They did not even look at the boys. What to speak of giving? And the boys left. They went told Krishna, we did not get. And then he said, go and ask the wives of the brahmanas. So they came and asked the brahmana's wife. I said, Krishna is 3 kilometers away. He's asking for food. He's hungry. And the brahmana's wife, they also took all the preparation, all the pots and the sabji and the rice and everything, and the sweets and the puris and everything. They left home without even asking permission from the husband. Right? They just left with the intention of not coming back again. With the intention of not coming back again. They left. And they fed Krishna and Balaram. And they didn't want to come back. And Krishna said, no, now you have to go back. I'm very satisfied, but go back. And they said, no, you're not going to go back. Or we'll be beaten by husband because we left without the permission. And Krishna, no, you have to go back. Nothing will happen to you. And then they accept to go back. When they came back, some miraculous thing happened. Very miracle. The husband paid obeisances to the wife. This is ulta, right? The husband paid dandavat pranam to the wives. What has happened? And then they start to repent, the brahmanas said, we are brahmanas. We know yajna, we know the Vedas, we know tapasya, we know cleanliness, mantras, tantras, we know everything. But we have failed to recognize Krishna. Whereas our wife do not know yajna, mantras, cleanliness, process of cleanliness, they not learn. Tapasya, nothing. But they have passed it, the exam. They have recognized Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They have understood that this is the Supreme Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person. So we have comparison here. Brahmana and the wives of the Brahmana, they are great Vaishnavis, great devotees of the Lord. How did they become devotees suddenly? Because they were not allowed to go to Mathura. Just by hearing Krishna Katha when they were going to the market, buying vegetable and fruits. Normally here in modern world market there is always prajalpa, right? But they were hearing Krishna's glories from the fruit vendors, because these fruit vendors were going to Vrindavan back and forth, Mathura back and forth. They were hearing Krishna Katha, and this is suddenly how the love for Krishna increased. It's like Rukmini. Rukmini wanted to marry Krishna just by hearing about Krishna from Narad Muni. She never seen Krishna, but she just wanted to marry Krishna when she's grown up by hearing about Krishna. So this is bhakti. Shravana means bhakti yoga. So we can see here why the Vaishnavas are greater. And this is the Brahmanas, they can study and then they become Vipra, and then after Vipra, if they make more spiritual advancement, and they become Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas are postgraduate Brahmana. One time, even, who was that? Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya, he was doing Shraddha ceremony. But when you do Shraddha, you have to also invite Brahmanas, right? Brahman Bhoj. So he invited Haridas Thakur. Also other Brahmanas were there. Many caste Brahmana came. He invited also Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur came. And then now Advaitacharya was feeding the Brahman. But first he was feeding Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, why you are feeding me? You should feed the Brahmanas first. I'm coming from a Yavana family. They can't feed me. Feed them first. Advaitacharya said, Haridas Thakur, by feeding one Haridas Thakur, I'm feeding 10,000 Brahmanas at the same time. Just by feeding one Haridas Thakur. This was his respect for Haridas. I mean, Haridas Thakur also coming from a Vyamana family, but his greatest Vaishnava. And has received the title. Which title he received? Namachari. Who know better than him about the holy name? You know. Another time, some other caste Brahmanas, they were also arguing with him that the goal of chanting, Brahmanas, caste Brahmanas said the goal of chanting is to attain liberation and mitigating our suffering. Haridas said, no, this is not the goal. The goal of chanting is to achieve Krishna Prem. You know, suffering, mitigation of suffering and liberation, that one can attain by Namabhas. Like Ajamili was calling for his son, is Namabhas. Not calling for the Lord, but he was calling for his son. But the Brahmanas were very, very unhappy. He said that if that is not true, Haridas, we are going to cut your nose. Very offensive, right? But next 3 days, you know what happened? The Brahmana's nose started to melt because of offending Namachara. Namachara Haridas Thakur left the place, did not argue anymore. Who knows better than him? But now another thing has happened here also. Advaitacharya invited Haridas Thakur, a friend Haridas Thakur, but the Brahmanas were not happy. They all became upset because why he has offered food first to a Yavana, Haridas Thakur. The caste Brahman, they say, if you continue like this, we will disassociate with you. Who will ostracize you from society, you know. And then the Brahmanas left, they did not eat. Food were kept for them, but they did not eat, they went home. They went home, but they were hungry. And they told the wife, cook food. Now it's time, we are hungry. Look at this Advaitacharya, you know, is feeding Haridas Thakur first. We are Brahmanas. It's an insult. So when the wife was trying to cook, and the wife was lighting the fire, you know, with the matches, and fire was not coming up. Was not able to lit fire. And because fire was not coming, they could not cook the food, they could not eat. Now they were fasting again whole night. Next morning they tried to cook again, no fire. Trying to lit the matchbox, you know. And again lunch, no fire. Finally they realized that they must have offended Advaita Acharya. Or they all came to Advaita Acharya and begging for forgiveness from Advaita Acharya. You know, we have offended you, we tried to cook, no fire. And then Advaita Acharya said, not me, you have not offended me. Who? Haridas, go to him. You know, you've offended Haridas Thakur. And then they went to Haridas Thakur and begged for forgiveness. So this example, and then they went home, they were able to cook, fire came, right? Exemplify the point is, Shastra say, even if one is born in a Brahmanical family, but is not practicing, he is not performing devotional service, he cannot deliver himself, and he cannot deliver his family. Whereas one born in a family of Malecha or Yavana, but if he's engaged in devotional service, and then he can deliver himself as well as his family members. So we have the example also. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was initiating Sudras. Many of the caste Brahmanas, they were not happy about it. They make a plot, conspiracy to kill Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. They went to the police station. They went to the police and asked the police, we'll give you 25,000 rupees. At that time it's big money. But do not take any action. We'll, try to kill Bhaktisiddhanta. And the police said, of course we take bribe. but not for this purpose. This one will not take, will not, allow to do that. So yes, he was transforming many, like Prabhupada also was criticized. Prabhupada went to the West and transformed the hippies into happies, right? To America especially. But because Prabhupada knows what is Brahmanical culture, what is this Vaishnava culture, but many were mostly caste, and they are very much into rules, regulation, that they even forget to serve, to worship, to serve, especially devotional service. They forget to serve. One minute the Shastra, the Vedas, everything, yagyas, but then they fail to recognize the Supreme Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Hare Krishna. Been asked to stop at 8:30, so maybe 5 minutes. Is any question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, that was a wonderful class. There was a point which you mentioned, like even if we do all the necessary process and devotional service, we might not be able to recognize Krishna.
No, not devotional service. The other process. The Brahmanas, they know the Vedas. They know yagyas, tapasya, cleanliness, austerities. They know so much, very advanced, but not devotional service. So then they will not recognize the Supreme Lord, Krishna, right? They cannot deliver themselves, and they will not be able to deliver the family member. This is what Shastra says. Yeah. Again, the question? That's it.
So the question I had was like, even if we do, our devotional service, even if we are chanting, doing our sadhana and everything, how do we know that we are actually doing bhakti and just not doing the necessary steps?
Yes. Bhakti, Krishna explained, although Krishna has given many yoga process, speaks about karma yoga in beginning, jnana yoga, astanga yoga, but at the end he says what? Sura dharman paritaja, come to me. Bhakti mama vijani, only through bhakti you can know me. But it's a process. The process from Shraddha to Prema, where we are, first is faith, Shraddha, and Bhajana Kriya, and Sadhu Sangha, and then Bhajana Kriya and Anartha Nivriti. Now, right now we are on the level of Anartha Nivriti, So Anartha Nivriti, we are on that platform, and then after that we become Nishtha. Nishtha is a position where Nishtha is fixed. You become fixed. You have to come on that platform. So Nishtha doesn't mean that although we come to Nishtha that we have become free from anarthas. Maybe anarthas may be there, but we don't get disturbed by it. Then we make more progress. Anarthas will be there up to even, what's it called? Bhava. Even up to Bhava, Anartha will be there. But this is science. And we can also ask Gurudev, we can ask, like the train goes 2 tracks, right? We go on 3 tracks, Guru, Shastra and Sadhu, or we can check and balance. Yes, Prabhu?
Maharaj, I'm wondering about this point of the offense, the reaction to offending the police. Like you mentioned, this Brahmana, his nose melted off after he offended Haridas Thakur. Because we know that Krishna is so merciful, even Lord Chaitanya is Mahava and Avatar. So if Lord Chaitanya is so merciful, how do we understand these severe reactions to offenses sometimes?
Offenses to a Vaishnava is compared to be like Hati Mata. Means it doesn't say lion, it says elephant. Why elephant? Lion is a king of the forest. But the lion can kill one person. But a mad elephant can destroy the whole village, garden, right? If you offend a Vaishnava, and then it will be complete like the offense of a mad elephant will destroy your bhakti. But bhakti cannot be destroyed. Right? If you have done service and bhakti, and then you offend a Vaishnava, does that mean the bhakti is gone? No, bhakti never get destroyed. Prabhupada said that even somebody has done some devotional service and also offending the Vaishnava, his bhakti doesn't get destroyed. Bhakti is eternal. But he's checked. And Prabhupada used the word checked. At one point, something happened to him, he checked. And then we come back to our senses again. Prabhupada used the word checked, he's checked at one point. So, although he's doing devotional service, but committing offenses, this bhakti, what he has done doesn't go, it's still there. But sometimes it gets checked. Something happened, goes back, and then again become more serious in his life. Of course, the Brahmanas' nose start melting. Afterward, they understood. They came back to their senses. Yes, offending. Haridas Thakur at that point, he just left. He was so humble. He didn't want to argue. He just left because who knows better than Haridas Thakur? He's the only one who got this title. Naam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. He was extremely humble. Mahaprabhu has given different service to different devotees, like Rasa Tattva to Rupa Goswami, right? Holy name too. Sanatana Goswami is a Sambandha Gyan, like that. Different. Any other? Who is first? Okay, Mata.
In this verse, Shashita is, she's a Kshatriya and she can get angry. But since Devayani is Brahmana, Brahmanas are more educated and more humility and more humble. How can she get angry? If she gets angry, it's normal.
You know what Prabhupada is saying at the last in the purport?
Yeah.
What is he saying? It is the nature of woman to fight. Not talking about you, but it's Prabhupada is saying. It's the nature, and it has been for a long time. So
there's a bitterness there, so it's came up, burst.
Yeah. That was Prabhupada is saying here, the nature, the incident. And also I think from beginning you have read about Anuloma, Pratiloma. You remember that? Anuloma, Pratiloma. Did you not read that? That came first. The reason why Maharaj Parikshit, this story is being given here, Sukadeva Goswami is telling that story, because Sukadeva Goswami is asking the question. Maharaj Parikshit. Why normally Brahmin get married, that's okay. Or Brahmana get married to a Kshatriya wife, that's also okay. But a Kshatriya getting married to a Brahmin lady, that is not allowed. That's where the question came from Maharaj Parikshit. Yes? Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj Haridas. I had two questions. The first question is, you spoke about cows and the word go. And I've seen it in terms of Sanskrit, it's been used 2 times. One is for cows, and one is also for the senses, Goswami, the master of the senses. So is there any relationship between the cow and the senses, or is it just Sanskrit that we look at? And my second question is, you mentioned the order of Brahmana, then becomes a Vipra, a learned scholar, and then the postgraduate version is a Vaishnava. So does a Vaishnava have to follow the orders of a Vipra and a Brahmana before becoming a Vaishnava, for one to become a Vaishnava?
Are we doing well with the time? Okay. So, yeah, no, this is Sanskrit. Goswami. Goswami means one who controls the senses. Goswami, senses. Also land. Cow, land also. Go. So, no, this is Sanskrit. But Gopal, this means cows. Go is also go, go mata. It's a Sanskrit word. And then, a second point?
Second question is, you mentioned the order, Brahman becomes a Vipra.
Oh yes, yeah. The question was if the Vaishnavas has to go through the process. Not necessary. Uplifted. Once chanting Hare Krishna, and do devotional service, they become completely transformed. Prabhupada has transformed. Prabhupada has created a revolution. Tadvad Viksarga, what's the rest? A revolution Prabhupada has created. That's what Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva, that devotional service can actually uplift someone. Who was that? Mrigari. Narad Muni came, and Mrigari never been into all this process. He was just lifted. Because Brahmanas are in the mood of goodness. Right? But Vaishnavas, they should be above. So they get uplifted. It is said that you have to become on the platform of goodness, then you can reach the platform of transcendental, super goodness. So goodness is like going to the airport. You have to go to the airport and you can get into the flight. Flight is transcendental. If you don't come to goodness, you can't go to transcendental. But goodness also is not the aim. Because if you stay longer in goodness, people go to airport, they don't get into the flight, they come home. Then you come to passion and ignorance. Because goodness is not the ultimate goal. But Mrigari did not go to the airport. How was he lifted? He was lifted by helicopter. Narad Muni is like helicopter, lifted him. At once, became pure. Did not go through all this process. So, there's no need. Because as said, a Vaishnava is a postgraduate Brahmana. At once, because that's the nature, that's the power of devotional service. Can uplift someone to the highest planet. Prabhupada said that people, some youth, they were taking drugs. Why they take drugs? Because they want to feel high. Right? Prabhupada said, I have the drug that you can stay high forever. That's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay? Thank you. Shiva Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Namo Namaha.
Namaha.